Today on Grime and Game, it would seem that Mr. Nutchucks, yes,
butt chucks.
he got even more interested in Warhammer 40,000.
I did.
In the spirit of things, I wanted to do around a little bit of skirmish play of Dawn of War 2, Rising Chaos Rising, of course. And the idea is just to kind of show some more things in the background. I've also brought over a newer issue of the White Dwarf official magazine. So, in the interest of pursuing even more nerdy wants, I like to have my compatriot observe what's happening, ask me some questions, and I'll banter on as we go back into this game.
Yeah, you can do that. I have slightly... I'd say it's piqued more my interest. You showed me the game Vermintide, and I've quite enjoyed it since you've showed it to me. I bought it and played it, and it's been something that I was not expecting. It was more of a Left 4 Dead game than what I thought. I'm a big Left 4 Dead fan. It's kind of like I'm like the other Joe. Like, you want to play another zombie game? Like, I'm that guy.
Oh, stop!
Yeah, I love zombie games, everything about them. So, when I saw this and started playing it, I wasn't used to the WASD keys, but it got me into it. It got me into the lore, so I'm kind of... it's kind of piqued my interest.
Given that Vermintide is very much more about melee hack and slashing with occasional ranged combat, how are you finding the controls? Are they kind of too twitchy for you? Are they pretty smooth?
They are smooth now. It was hard for me to get it. I'm still learning the Q and E key and the T, because T tags everything. So it's kind of hard for me to go from E to T, skipping the R. So I'm like occasionally hitting R and not realizing what I'm doing because it's not doing anything.
You know what's really funny?
What?
I didn't know T was what you used to tag things.
Yeah.
I had somebody helpfully point out to me yesterday saying, you should heal up, bro. So I healed myself and dropped the tome, but couldn't find the tome, so I went away. So he just kept standing there going, T. Here's your tome. It's right there. Pick it up. Pick it up!
I had a guy the first game I played, the one guy was like, come here, we need to stand here. Stand here. Like, come here. Like, God, what are you guys doing? Like, I've never played before. He's like, oh, my bad. Like, yeah, I don't know.
You're such an idiot!
Like,
I'm new.
Like, I was like, I'm standing next to these guys because I can see them. I don't know where you are, and you happen to be the dwarf. So, I'm sorry.
You're too short to see.
Yeah. Like, and you're not highlighting up for some reason, so I don't know where you're at.
The outlines are very important.
They are.
We keep on brooding little broodly breeders, guys. Hormigons, termagants.
Mm-hmm.
Warriors with their psychic corona. And our big bad boss, who has all sorts of upgrades that should probably take advantage of.
Did you say Psychic Corona?
Psychic corona.
Yes, Psychic Cerveza. Mexican Cerveza. Is that even? No, that's brewed in Chicago. I don't even know it's really Mexican Cerveza.
The license holders have it up there.
Yeah.
Ah, we're about to have some combat.
Uh-oh. Who's that?
Orks.
Huh. So, you got giant space bugs versus douchey orcs.
Yep. They were kind of built for each other, really.
Indeed. And what's the whole point? You're trying to capture points right here?
The points will give me resources to buy more things, even though we have a high starting resource ability. But there are also places to get a big hoedown going and fight.
Huh. Damn!
And of course, if you're playing the tabletop game, each one of these units is a miniature that you have to lovingly craft and paint.
That's the one. I'm not very artistic, I would say. So I would be shit out of luck.
You are autistic.
Slightly. Just slightly.
Tastefully so.
Dear God, I like the animation they have on the ground. If you scroll back up there, go to where your bugs are. The bugs have died. No, back up. Yeah, keep going, back up, right there. Like, is that dead bugs or is that just a shattered concrete? That looked like a bunch of dead bugs. I was like, dear God. Like, I like the animation. Like, once they die, they just splatter to the ground.
Well, to be fair, there are options to enable corpses to be more or less permanent.
That would be kind of good. Ooh, what is that?
That is a looted Imperial Guard, a Space Marine vehicle. That is a looted Predator. With some bolted on plates.
So what you're telling me is you can't be within 10 miles of a school, a church, or a playground?
Oh yeah, you park that within 10 miles, you're toast.
Okay, I just want to make sure. The cops come after you, right? Feds? Like, sir?
Worse, the Inquisition.
Oh.
It gets rough.
No one can stop the Spanish Inquisition.
The Spanish Inquisition we can stop. The Imperial Inquisition? That's a whole new ballgame.
You ever watched the old Monty Python skits?
Oh yes.
Okay, just making sure. Just making sure in case nobody got my reference there. Like, I don't get this guy's references. This is too old for me. What a great show.
The Gene Stealers are not meant for armored engagements.
It doesn't look like it, yeah.
In fact, I don't have a whole lot that is.
Ruh-roh.
But a zoanthrope is coming. In fact, here it is. You see, what happens here is the Tyranids are very much a psychic affluent culture. And as such, if they don't have a leader brain to talk to them nearby, they become feral animals. The warriors and the hive tyrant have an emitting corona. Yes, they smell. Damn, this is not going well.
It is not. They, how the hell did they build that before you could get anything like that?
Oh, they acted faster.
Wow. You know what difficulty is this on?
Normal.
Normal? No.
Yeah. That's okay, I'm just not very good.
Well, I tried playing this and I was not very good at. Well, not this one, because I was playing the other one, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, you were playing Retribution.
Yes, that's what I thought. And I struggled pretty mightily on the area with the tank chasing after you, the like 6-headed tank. Damn, dude, you're getting slaughtered.
But the tank went down. Something killed it. You see, I have my psychic artillery.
Ah,
He's trophied up. The Tyrant Guard's job is to take abuse. The Zoanthrope's job is to kill it with their brain bullets.
Ah,
Yeah, sure, let's buy our Tyrant back. We should be neglecting our spawning beacon. Our hive. This is a seed that the fleet has planted on the ground to summon more troops. But the whole idea of Tyranids is that they eat worlds. They eat all that there is to be had on this planet. They'll begin by reducing any sort of resistance organisms. They will smelt down all the flora and fauna. They'll create big digestion pools to eat it all up. And then the fleet will arrive from orbit and just with a straw suck it all up.
huh.
And then when there's nothing else to be had by cracking the planet and taking all the metals and folding those, they'll just take a big breath, grab all the air there is to be had, and leave. They strip worlds bare.
Wow. So I was going to ask, in the tabletop version, if you go back to the main hive area real quick, I know you got another tank coming after you. Is that in... Ooh, hey.
Could be an issue. Is that what?
Is that in the tabletop game?
As an objective marker, perhaps. Tabletop game doesn't have a whole lot of base construction. Mostly if you have buildings, they're terrain, there are things to be hidden behind and taking cover, much like in this game. But you are there to deploy your armies and have at them. You can have specialty game modes, of course, where you take objectives and you control ground or deny it. In this case, I only have one building to worry about. The previous game, I think you saw ours and Coinbeaner's video. We did the original Dawn of War. Much more classic base construction. Plop your buildings down and then have at the enemy.
I did kind of notice that. What's going on with there? What is that right there? It's going on, the
Which one?
armadillo egg that's laying in the middle of the thing.
Well, that's my Tyrant Guard. He's just laying there and regenerating.
And he cannot be hurt?
Oh, he can be hurt, but he resists damage really well. So he's a damage sponge. Hopefully my Zoanthrope can take advantage of. Yeah, a little bit. The Lictor is an infiltration unit. Oh, this is a Venom Brood. This is a Man-Killer Infantry. This is the Lictor. We saw it in the intro cinematic extended teaser.
Huh.
That this is the unit that drops down quietly, camouflages, and finds ways to survey the area and take out any other opposition. And that Tyrant Guard is insanely good at taking damage.
It is. My god, man. It's not dead yet.
I should build another one. This is a Carnifex. This is a walking tank. Now, the Tyranids don't have construction, they have bioevolution. When they consume planet cultures, they find ways to incorporate genetic code into their own builds for effectiveness' sake. As a result, the Carnifex is, of course, a walking tank evolution, but they also have Biotitans. If they're required to, because after all, everything the fleet expends, everything it shits out, can be reclaimed and eaten again, but there's a chance of waste. So why waste resources if you don't have to?
Makes sense.
They'll try and find paths of least resistance.
Nope, finally died.
Went down. After 2 tracked vehicles and the army boss went after it. Impressive, to say the least. But as we're talking about models,
Yes.
these are broods of 10, 12, 15 units per squad. You have to paint every one.
Dear God.
So if this is a hobby that you enjoy, you will be putting in time.
Well, I can see that. I mean, with any hobby, I mean, like, I spent years playing baseball, so it'd be the same concept.
Baseball costs less.
You would be amazed how much it doesn't.
So you see this guy? Mm-hmm. If I remember correctly, a Carnifex is about $50.
Is that a dick on it? Okay, that's a gun.
Yes, that's a spew dick.
It looks just like a giant
It's
dick.
called a venom cannon. Yeah, all of their weapons are symbiotic organisms. If you look closely, its hands are fused into it.
Huh.
It feeds its own metabolic nutrients into the weapon, and the weapon is also a predator that goes, okay, I'm going to ship my eggs at the enemy.
Different.
It is completely biosymbiotic.
Now, do you have to have each, like, so when you play the tabletop game, do you have to have one of each? Like, you have to be a Tyranid, you have to be Harvina Birdman, and you have to be the Chaos Marines, and you have to be the Space Marines, and or is it just whatever you are?
You can have factions battle their own faction, but it is rare. More often than not, what ends up happening is...
Like, I mean, do they set rules like you have to be this person? Like, one of you has to be this group for this match. It doesn't matter.
You collect an army. Your armies cost money.
Yep.
Unless you have all the money ever, you don't have money for more armies. Or at least not the same effectiveness. As a result, if you collect orcs, well, great, your army is orcs. Like
Okay, I
mine
wasn't
was.
sure if they were like, when you came to a tournament, like, you have to be Space Marine. We already have too many orcs.
Well, interesting note, when you have global campaigns, you will have certain spots saying, we'll prefer this army for this plot purpose, but we're not going to say go home if you don't have it. We'll find a way for you to fight. But if 4 players show up with Space Marines, the question is, what's up with all these Space Marines fighting? Why?
Which, it's just a friendly competition.
No such thing. You could say they're war exercises, but that only goes so far.
Makes sense. It just piqued my interest because I was like, well, do they have where it's like you have to be this type of person? You can't get your base destroyed there, bud.
I am. This could be a problem. We may have to focus on this a little more, but I don't want to. We're just going to dick around. Being this type of person, I think the question I'm hearing from you is, are you restricted from being certain armies?
Yeah.
In some cases, in official play, yes. In friendly play, whatever plot line
I mean, like,
you want to.
when you, yeah, and I get it when you go to tournaments. That's my whole thing. Like, if you were doing this competitively, like, if you played baseball, there couldn't be 2 Cleveland Indians in
Right.
the World Series. So it's like, well, you both can't be this. Or, like, the best way I could describe it is, during Madden tournaments, you have to be a different Madden team for each game until you get to the championship game, and you can be whatever team you want unless both players are that team, and then it's whoever had the best...
Perhaps I can also explain it by way of saying you have to paint your miniatures. If you painted your standard Space Marines as, let's say, the Black Templars,
Yeah.
well, then you have a Black Templar army. If you say, I want to be the Dark Angels, well, great, get some paint stripper, start restarting the process, repaint them as something else. So if you had access to all the armies ever, you could play as whatever armies you wanted. Canon-wise, it doesn't make sense that the same clan will fight itself, or why the Tyranids will fight each other makes no sense. But you could. Whatever story you want to write in, it's your story, it's your choice.
Makes sense.
But mechanically, yeah. Well, you've got the dice, you've got the rules, you've got the measuring sticks for distance. Have at it.
So how close is this to another favorite tabletop game of most people, Dungeons and Dragons?
How close is this?
Yes.
If you consider,
Tabletop-wise.
if you consider that most D&D players that I've experience with want to feel powerful and kill monsters and get loot, the campaign mode of these games are very close to that. Your party of intrepid adventurers will beat the ass of all the armies ever. It'll be out of control and explode. You'll get cool loot, you'll get new powers, you'll level up, you'll be able to take more damage, and you go on to slaughter more things. Plot-wise, not so much. But then again, the majority of people when they play Warhammer like this, they play with just skirmish. Throw this army against this other army. Why else would you worry? Why worry at all? But there are points where you can have scenario objectives, like for the first 3 turns, the enemy doesn't know you're there. So accomplish what you can with stealth, and you can't deploy certain units, only your infiltrator class units. But once that phase is advanced, you go into the next set of the scenario. You deploy more forces. It's a lot more about tactical maneuvering. In the fantasy version of the game, to preface that, the infantry, as you can see, when you select these warriors, they have a squad of 3. And they stay within a certain distance of each other. It's called unit coherency. In the tabletop game, if you somehow take out a few of the people in the middle of the squad, they can't really do anything until they reestablish coherency and get close together. In the fantasy game, all of your infantry, the majority of infantry, unless they're skirmishers, all basically are mounted on trays or have to stay in blocks of troops. So it's all about medieval Total War style maneuvering of blocks of infantry. It's getting people to wheel, address, and charge forward.
How does your population work, though?
You have a population meter.
Not in this game. I mean on the tabletop. So a lot of the references I probably should say, like, what in the tabletop version.
Yeah, description, man. We talked about this.
Yes. Tabletop version, how do you set a population cap? Like, you can't have more than 100 people, so each person costs this much.
Points value.
Points
Each
value?
unit has a core points value.
Okay.
Their versions have points value. Their equipment have points value. So you buy an army to a scale that you set. Most games will be about 2,000 or 1,200 points. That's enough for a few squads or a couple of really big BAMs. If you have a 6,000 point Warhammer Fantasy Hoedown, that's going to have a lot of mystical characters and a lot of really, really cool stuff showing up. But they're all high value as well, so keep that in mind. We could use our tactical advantage here to build some buildings. How about that?
Okay.
We're getting rained on by orc rockets, which is insulting, considering the orcs are not the best at aiming. Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it!
No,
Yeah.
just ate him.
Yeah! Throw.
Oh, he doesn't split him in half, though. Like, I would want to see him split in half.
You vicious, cruel human being.
I do. Well, this is the same guy that you told me to stop saying put a cigar out in another guy's eye.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Playful cruelty is kind of nice.
It is. You can do. That's the one thing I like about video games is that you can live in a fantasy that you can't do. Now, I'm not saying go around that.
Well, be magnanimous at least. If you do asshole things and act the asshole, what am I going to call you out as?
An asshole.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I know. I act. That's my whole point, though. Like, you can be things that, like, I'm a very nice person in real life.
No.
It depends on who you talk to. But in video games, it's like, I just much rather play the dick because what my job...
It's venting. I get it.
Job entails, I have to be very nice to everybody, whether I feel that way or not.
Friend of the show and potential participator at some point, Crotch Rocket. I often...
Do I know Crotch Rocket?
You do know Crotch Rocket.
Okay.
I often see him engage in various personal rules when playing games. For example, complete stealth run, nobody can see me, I won't kill anyone, I'll Batman kill him, I'll beat him up and leave him unconscious and they will die without medical attention. But I won't be there to see it, so I didn't see it, they didn't die. And have to be completely stealthy, nobody can see me, no alarms. With some exceptions, of course. But then you start playing the game, and you get detected, and you get frustrated, and you reload, and then you try it again, and you also screw up, and you also reload. And this continues on for about 5 or 6 tries, until all of a sudden, that's Orc Puke, by the way, Psychic Orc Puke. This continues on until you have this break, this psychic break, where he goes around killing everyone until he dies. Then he reloads and tries again. So you create the urge to be an asshole within yourself, and you respond to that by pushing yourself until you can take no more.
Makes sense.
No, it doesn't. It makes no sense. I mean, that's like self-loathing at its worst.
It is, but I guess it depends on how you want to play a game. I mean, that's the whole... So, to me, a game is a fantasy aspect. I mean, if that's the way you want to play it, that's the way you want to play it. Does it work always? No.
You make yourself play because we have scoring mechanics and Skinner box techniques to say, if you do it this way, you're doing it right good. This is the way you do it.
In the end, it gets you to the same... As the way Coinbeaner told me, in the end, it gets you to the same point no matter what.
Yes. Utter frustration and drinking more.
Yeah. And what his aspect was, if you play Wolf Among Us, you're going to get the same very ending part in the very last episode.
Yes.
No matter what. So it's still a linear game in an aspect, but not in a whole aspect. You're going around...
This is a Dragon Ball Z fight.
It is. It is going around, like I said on the
Hercule lost his shit.
last Resident Evil episode. It's going around you're able to get to your asshole, but in the end, you're still accomplishing the same aspect.
Grossly speaking, yes, you're accomplishing the same thing. You're getting to the end.
Yep. You may not like the way it ends, but you may not like the way you got there, and you may be like the biggest dick, but you still got the same thing if a person acted completely nice. There's like a lot of people I know who used to play Fable, just being all good. Like, I'm only going to do good things and never do anything bad.
Well, that's mostly because of game design. You have no interesting consequence for being in the middle. The game go all the way one way, all the way the other. We don't understand nuance. We only have just anger, right?
I did have a buddy. It was my brother's friend, actually. He literally had one of those 90-page sheets, slap full of plus and minuses on a Fable game. He was like, I'm going to be in the middle, 100% in the middle. So if he had -3 for one thing, he would go out and do a +3 for another. So, but at the end of the game, when he had a choice, he's like, oh man, because I'm in the middle, I'm going to be one way too far or one way the other way
That's
too.
right.
And he's like, so this, in the end, I'm either a dick or a very nice guy.
Correct. Well, now again, your buddy has done a wonderful thing, but he had to do it because the system failed to account for that sort of nuance.
Yep.
There's just no place for him to go.
Exactly. What is that? Oh, I was thinking of Officer and a Gentleman. I got nowhere left to go. Oh God. Like, yes, Richard Gere. Who was the black actor in that movie?
I'm going to say Lawrence Fishburne, but I could be wrong.
No, he's a famous actor. I'm gonna.
You saying Larry's not famous?
No, he's best known for being the sheriff
Ah,
at Pee-wee's Playhouse.
curious. That's like George Collins known for being Mr. Conductor, right?
Yeah, you know Alec Baldwin replaced him?
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I thought it was just his famous sweaty balls.
Let's see here.
The Orks might win, but it's okay. It's still a good show.
It is. It's a very good show. And God damn it, hurry up. I'm going to remember his name. I'm going to remember it. Lou
Gehrig's disease.
Lou Gossett Jr.
Lou Gossett Jr. I don't know Lou Gossett Jr. Should I?
Yeah, you do. You know who Lou Gossett. He's Vortigaunt in Half-Life 2.
Oh, yes.
He's this guy, though. And
I like him. I like him already.
I showed him the
once.
picture, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if you're wondering. Like, is this guy? There's going to be no captions on the screen of who he is. We don't edit our videos.
Eventually we will. Right now, got nothing. Got nothing for you. The rear armor is a fuel Bowser. Why didn't you kill it?
Like how he turned away from it, like, nah, I'm good. I'm done. Like, I did enough damage. Like, I quit.
Whee! Now run!
You think in the years of evolution they would have learned to run? Like, that would have been one of the
Oh,
things.
no. Yeah, their instinct, yes, but now they're under the command of an incompetent martial intelligence, that being me.
Ah.
This could be so much better if only I played correctly. But I'm not.
We're
I'm not.
playing this for shits and giggles.
We are.
As we're playing this, I'm also looking at a magazine, ladies and gentlemen. Like he said in the beginning, I have slightly gotten into this. It's piqued my interest more. I've never really been into tabletop games. I've been into Axis and Allies, which is a very, very in-depth World War II strategy game.
Super in-depth. You have to be 55 to start playing.
Pretty much.
Won't let you win otherwise.
My dad literally started playing with me when I was about 12. And he's like, all right, we're going to learn how to play this. I was like, I like to play Risk. He's like, fuck Risk. I got something you'll like.
You want to see Risk? How about Risk Poland in 38?
Pretty much. Like, you're going to learn how to play this. Like, and I enjoyed it, strangely. I haven't played it in many, many years, so if I ever picked it back up, it would take me a while to grasp around, but I know the basic concepts of it.
I believe it wasn't Axis and Allies, it was an offshoot, but they had a semi-alternate history World War II setting where you had walking tanks. And basically the walking tanks...
They've done a bunch of Axis and Allies in the future and stuff, so the Axis and Allies has spread it out to like Vietnam, Korean War.
Right, but it's more of the hardcore tactical game.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, yeah, with this Panther, we're going to bolt on giant steel legs and pretend it's a mech.
See, the funniest one, though, I feel like people are like, I like Stratego, like, you silly man. That's like a child
You like
strategy.
a board game, that's nice. You have to move the piece around the circle track, that's nice too.
Yeah, it's like you like a simple strategy game, sir. It's like saying you like to play life. It's like that's simple.
I like the Robot Chicken sketch. The game of life.
Oh, yes. That was a good one.
Dark, but good. Kill your boss in the parrot. Game of life.
I still like the one with the darkest sketch of all time.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
That's the sketch that wouldn't stop.
Yep. I watched the...
So we started this match with a fairly normal desert shithole. Mm-hmm. We now have a corroded, blowed up, craterous desert shithole, and I love that kind of attention. It's not deep enough that you can take cover in the craters, but it's still pretty good.
So what the hell's... Oh, dear God.
Still just picking on him. Turret guard.
It looks
Basically,
like...
the notion is that this is Space Marine DNA run through their own gene pool. Like, what do the Space Marines do? Well, they're really hard to kill compared to most other life forms. Their DNA is really hardy. Use that. Go ahead and use that.
Huh. Is that thing just spitting out little monsters? Is that what it's doing?
Pretty much.
Can you spin around and take a look at its mouth area?
I can.
Whoa. It's about to die.
It might. Not saying it's not. The Orks are having their way with it.
They are. Yeah, it's dead.
Good show. Good show. Remember how I was trying to see finishing moves and they just wouldn't happen when playing the game? Mm-hmm. I think in this one actually it happens more often. Oh, yep, yeah. Oh, fucked. Straight fucked. Where's Big Boss?
Friendly fire happen in this?
No, not so much.
Nah, damn. Can it happen?
Yes.
And can it happen in the tabletop game?
Oh, absolutely.
Huh. How does that work?
Scatter weapons. Barrage weapons that require you to aim for an area and hope that it works.
How do you choose which group has a scatter weapon?
Well, for example, let's take an Imperial attack.
Well, not
force.
in this. Let me rephrase this. In the tabletop game.
Yes. So you have cannons that fire a certain range.
Yep.
Let's say up to
Does it
72 inches.
show it on the character is what I'm trying to really get at. Like, does the character have it in his hands? And like, this is a scatter weapon now? Or do you...
Yes.
Okay.
If you were to have a model that has the available equipment to do so, and that is not crewed by a gunnery crew or mounted on a big weapon.
Yep.
I mean, you'll know. I will show you the Earthshaker at some point. You'll be like, yeah, I understand how that might fly off the board a little bit.
Okay.
And you would roll a distance die as well as a ballistics die to see how close on the mark you are. And you might scatter 4 or 5 inches in the battlefield into your own men. Whoops.
Okay.
Everything from airdrops to everything else. So we have been soundly trounced by the Orc horde. And it is a victory for the galaxy, in fact, because the Orcs don't stop.
Are there weaknesses for each group towards the other one? Like, if you did the Space Marines are weaker, kind of like Starship Trooper-wise, to the Tyranids, and the Orcs are weaker to the Dark Space, or the Chaos Space Marines, and...
To an extent. Let's say that the Space Marines are fewer in number, but have really good physical stats and good equipment. The Orcs are really tough, but they don't aim very well, and they're not as strong as Space Marines. The Imperial Guard are weak to everything, but there's a lot of them. So you have these macro weaknesses towards things. Like the Eldar, there's fewer of them, they're expensive, but the weapons are pretty varied for all kinds of engagements.
What's piquing my interest, though, would be like, it'd be like if you played Magic. Like, I'm going to choose Earth. Well, I don't know Magic well, so don't people freak out when I say this. Like,
Him at green, folks. Him at green.
Yeah.
I choose green. I like big monsters and forests.
And then all of a sudden you choose, like, fire or red. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden it's like, well, fire, it trounces green, so you have to pick up a better strategy and hope your cards land right and you play it correctly to beat this.
One of my most embarrassing defeats was with a, you can call it an elite Dark Angels force that man-to-man stood up against Imperium very well. But the enemy player was playing an artillery deck. Artillery army, if you will. So before my troops ever got to him, he just flattened all of my force with a lot of off-board barrages. Because the rules said you can build this army, so he built an army saying, okay, this is my little force in the corner that you have to run to get to, and then my big cannons are off the board on that table over there. So here's your turn. You went forward. Good. Here's my turn. You lost a lot of your forces. Do you want to call it here, or do you want to keep pushing forward? Okay, 2 of your Terminators have made it to the end. Well, you lose, but you can still take the next turn if you want to. Like, it was pretty disheartening.
Wow.
There's a lot to go into, but this is a good first peek. So, Mr. Chucks, did you enjoy what you saw?
I did.
Do you like the models, the physicality of it?
I do. I think the only thing that
brushes?
turned me away that is the constant hours of painting. I'm not much of an artist person.
I'm modeling. We'll get it up later.
Yeah.
All right, folks. Here's your peek. We'll do a little more. Thank you very much.
Yep. See you guys.